YouTube now has a new AI tool that allows users to generate background music for their videos for free. And trust me when I say this is a way bigger deal than you think. You can see right here, like I just said, YouTube's new AI tool generates free background music for videos. So down here, YouTube is giving its creators a new AI tool that can generate. Remember, this is an AI music generator. It can generate instrumental tracks to use in videos for free without worrying about copyright claims, TechCrunch reports. This new feature was demonstrated in a video posted on the company's Creator Insider channel this week. And in the video, Lauren, shows a new tab in the Creator Music beta section on YouTube called Music Assistant, where you can enter in a prompt like, give me an uplifting and motivational music for workout montage. Very typical to Suno or Udio. You just enter in a prompt, and then the tool generates several tracks, which you can review and download so you can add them to your video editor. Lauren says it's gradually rolling out the Music Assistant for users who have access to Creator Music. And here's the thing, I will say this, I do not have access to this feature yet on YouTube. Once I do, I'll do a video about it. But here's the thing, this to me is another big breadcrumb of what's happening in the future regarding AI, and especially AI music, and being even more specific than that, AI music generators. And what you may have noticed for a lot of my dedicated subscribers on this channel is I do a lot of music production tutorials, right? And music distribution tutorials, how to get your music on Spotify, DistroKid tutorials and stuff, free VST plugin reviews, and a lot more. And I've started to do more news article videos like this video I'm doing now, right? And typically this channel, I don't really cover news stories, but this is one I feel like I had to, right? With all the different AI videos I've made throughout maybe the past year or so, I have that playlist listed below in the description. I've noticed these are the kind of stories where I feel like as a musician, as myself, making money as a musician, releasing music, of course, and producing music, these are the kind of stories where I'm like, you know what? This is not meant to be a news channel, but I feel like I have to cover it. And the main reason why with this is that AI tools are now getting more integrated seamlessly to our everyday life. I mean, everybody now, it seems like, uses ChatGPT. Every site now has their own AI thing, right? You can look at Twitter or X has AI, Instagram now has AI, Facebook has AI. Every platform now has some type of AI tool in different ways, shapes, and forms that's fully integrated. And one thing I've noticed in the creative world that a lot of people are now doing, YouTube now too, is somehow making their own version of an AI music generator, or maybe partnering with a company that already has theirs and doing an integration. This is something, I'm going to be honest, that does worry me. And I'll tell you why is because, take me, I'll use myself as a personal example. If you go on TikTok and you want to make a video and you want to add in a song, I've had literally billions of views with people using my music in their videos across TikTok, for example, right? And here's the thing. Here's what gets scary for me is, take this past March, St. Patrick's Day is my biggest song every year during the month of March. It's kind of like my All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. I've talked about that in a couple of videos where every March it just blows up. I make a ton of money. Tons of creators make St. Patrick's Day themed songs, whether it's a makeup tutorial, a drinking video, a partying video, a fun little just Irish themed video, whatever they're doing. They go to add in a song, they click mine. But it could be very possible that for some creators and a lot of creators, they say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to generate my own St. Patrick's Day song if TikTok happens to roll out its own AI music generator, where it's not going to be my song anymore, it's going to be an AI. That's going to heavily affect how much money I'm going to make, my overall outreach, the views on my song, the publicity on my song, and a lot more. Now, granted, are we at that area yet in music? I don't think so, but that's where my mind is going. It could be very, very possible that for a lot of creators, I'm not talking about music creators now, but just content creators, videographers, people doing vlogs, people doing educational videos, rather than use someone else's song and roll the dice that they're going to be able to have it and not be copyrighted. A lot of them can say, hey, you know what? Why not just make my own song for free? And it's its own original thing that just got generated, where it's technically mine. I technically own it. I guess you could debate if you own it or not. I don't have to worry at all about monetization issues, especially with YouTube Content ID being a tricky thing. A lot of creators say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to risk it. I want to make sure I can use a copyright-free sound, copyright-free music, royalty-free music, whatever. And I think this is, being honest, what does kind of worry me about the AI space. And I know a lot of people, this is a very hot topic right now, especially this year, with everything happening with AI moving so rapidly fast, that a lot of people are now worried about their jobs being taken over by AI. And I think when it comes to music, this is an example that I think on one end, live performances, and I've talked about this in a couple of different videos, will always be live performances. And I think that's a tough thing to replicate with AI. I think that's a tough one to do. But then when you look at people just using music in TikTok videos, and Instagram Reels, and YouTube, it would make a lot of sense, especially for these companies not having to deal with performance rights organizations like ASCAP, BMI. I mean, there's a bajillion ones around the world. It makes a lot of sense for TikTok to say, hey, rather than pay pros money because they used a song, like say they used it for Chero or my song, my St. Patrick's Day song, for example, we have to pay pros or pay the performance rights organizations because we used it. Let's just make our own AI generating tool. That way they don't have to pick a copyrighted song, not necessarily copyrighted, but like another person's song that is in the pros database. That way we keep everything in-house. We don't have to pay out that money. That is a very, very possible thing. It would save TikTok a sugar honey iced tea load amount of money. Now, granted, you could argue, and this could be an hour-long video to be honest, you could argue, well, there is an advantage to, like, say, someone making a TikTok video and using a Drake song, using a Skrillex song, the new Skrillex album. Insane, by the way, of course. I was actually at Ultra this year for a set. Phenomenal, right? But they want to use, like, say, Voltage by Skrillex, one of the most popular songs off the new album, right? There is an advantage, and you want people to be able to have the access and the ability, of course, to use mainstream songs, because that, I think, does help the platform. It does help the platform on TikTok, for example. But if it is somebody who's like saying, hey, I just want a general song. I don't care what it is. I just need a song that maybe has Irish elements to it or sounds kind of Irish or Celtic or whatever. You might be able to do that via TikTok. Now this, I know, a very small breadcrumb being like, oh, well, you can generate instrumental tracks, put in your videos for free. Who cares? I think this is a sign of a lot of platforms now saying, hey, if we can keep everything in-house using AI, where people can generate something, in this case we're talking about music, to keep it more in-house, we don't have to pay the artist. We don't have to pay the performance rights organizations. We don't have to pay the distributor, right? Because remember, let's say someone uses your song on TikTok, there's multiple different ways you get paid from that use on TikTok. Some of it goes to your distributor, like say DistroKid, that you cash out. Some of it goes to your performance rights organizations that you then can cash out, and more. So this is just one of those arenas where I think when it comes to music, I can see if this keeps going down this path, which I feel like it will be, people using actual artists' songs is less and less, right? Now, granted, I think people will always use Drake songs, Skrillex's songs, Lady Gaga songs. I think those instances of famous artists will always be there because people want to use the newest Lady Gaga song, the newest Skrillex record or whatever. When it comes to, like, say, other artists, like myself, I think is a good example, like an independent, maybe not as well-known artist, of course. A lot of people find my music by just searching on TikTok, St. Patrick's Day music, and my song pops up. Or Lionel Messi is another one of my songs that went semi-viral on TikTok. People just searched Messi song or Lionel Messi song, my song popped up. But it could be very likely that unless someone directly wants to go to that Drake song or Skrillex song or Lady Gaga song or another famous figure, they might just search for something within the AI tool that generates it for them, being like, hey, just make me an Irish sounding song, that's it. Now, granted, when it comes to music, I will say that when it comes to this whole AI issue, there's been a lot of talk about it. That a lot of people are saying on one end, there's this commercial use of AI music, whether it's in film documentaries, I've talked about that before, whether it's in just general day-to-day media, commercials, whether it's in this case now, content creation for, like, say, content creators in general. There's a lot of uses commercially for AI music and AI music generators that does affect musicians. There's no denying that. That's just an unfortunate and inevitable of the way things are moving. At the same time, I know a lot of musicians have commented on this channel, especially recently, saying, hey, Mark, I'm not going to lie. I get it. Yeah, AM music this, AM music that. Yeah, commercial this, commercial that. I get it. But I like making music. Regardless of AI, I like making music. There was an article that came out, I can't remember when, it was fairly recently though, give or take in the past few months or something, where the creator of Suno AM music generator, arguably the biggest AM music generator right now is probably Suno. Suno versus Udio is like the Coke and Pepsi, but I feel like Suno really has the upper hand, in my opinion, when it comes to publicity. The creator of Suno said, yeah, you know what, no one really likes making music. That's beyond 100% false, right? So I think the aspect and the human pursuit of constantly creating music, constantly getting better at creating music, that will never change. I think people will continue to make music because they just love making music. And the same reason, there are people who are like, hey, you know what? I have a 9-to-5 job. I do X, Y, and Z at my job. I'm an accountant or whatever. But I come home and I play guitar. Do I want to be a famous guitar player? No. Do I care about making songs? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe do it once in a while. Maybe release a few records on DistroKid here and there because it's fun. But you play guitar because you just love it. You enjoy you enjoy everything that comes with playing guitar. And I think that is something that when it comes to music and music creation will always exist. But, and this is the big but for me, for a lot of musicians, they want both. They want to be able to do the thing that they love, producing music, playing music, performing it out live, etc., and of course make money from it. You know, when you ask, I think a lot of musicians, you know, do you want to make it? I think for making it, this is what I've realized in my experience, of course, talking to thousands of musicians on this channel and in person, offline, online, is that making it, I feel like there's two different stages, right? And there's a spectrum, of course. But I think the first stage for most musicians when it comes to making it is being able to wake up, do the thing that they love, and go to bed, right? There's a lot of quotes about this, a lot of philosophical quotes. And I think to a lot of musicians, if they said, hey, you know what, like say I was making $48K a year, right? Which in some cities is a lower salary to live off. Like to some people that's a lot of money, to some people it's a little, it does depend. Let's say you're making $4K a month, and let's say you do have to pinch pennies. Like say you're in a place like LA or New York, which is very expensive. 48K does not go that far in LA or New York. But if you can do it, and you're making 48K a year, 4K a month, a lot of musicians might say, hey, you know what? I know I'm only making 48K, but I get to wake up and play music all day, every day, and that's my job. I'm living the dream, and I've made it. Now, of course, you have other things. I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but I think for that first initial aspect of making it, it has to do with the way that you make money. Streams, downloads, it being featured on TikTok, so much more, which brings me back to the main point of this video that I can foresee with a tool like this and other platforms using tools like this. I can see TikTok rolling this out too, and that's going to make it harder for musicians to have that first stage of making it. I think it's gonna make it harder and harder for musicians to live off their income. I've talked even before about streams, right? Of course, AM music generating artists creating a bunch of songs, putting them on Spotify, and Spotify, let's say, recommending AI music over human-made artists, or human-made music, sorry, over human artists. That means it's harder now for some human artists to get streams and plays on Spotify because of these AI artists, which becomes this kind of paradox where they're like, shoot, like, I want to be able to just live off my music income, performing out live, streaming, downloading, being featured, but I can't now. I'm not able to because more and more of these AI songs are being featured. Even if it's not in a purposeful way, because it's so easy to release AI music now and way quicker and faster than making your own song, it's very feasible that, like, say, if later this year or the beginning of the next year, if I were to play 10 random songs on Spotify, any random 10 songs, maybe one of those will actually be human and 90% or the other 9 will be made by AI. This is the future that I'm foreseeing with AI music, which I know is a bit dark and maybe not the most positive, uplifting video. But again, I like to be very honest and transparent. Hopefully I am wrong. Hopefully maybe this is just a cool feature that some people use in their YouTube shorts once in a while, which is also very possible, but it's tough to say. Either way, AI music, and I'm going to say AI in general, is continuing to penetrate numerous different aspects of society and become fully integrated in ways that we're just now not even thinking that much about. To us, it's just, oh, another AI tool. Yeah, we're used to it now. But then when it comes to AI music, the uses of it, how it's being used, and the way this is being shaped, it is one of those situations where it's almost inevitable that the more that AI music tools get integrated and get improved, that's only more and more streams, plays, and views that get taken away from human artists, which makes it harder for a lot of other human artists and people in general to quote unquote make it and get to that first stage of being able to live off their income. It's gonna make it harder. And even for people who are now doing that, living off their music income, it might be even harder for them to continue doing that because of all these AI tools. I know a bit of a bleak viewpoint into what the future might hold, but at this point in time, no matter what, at the end of the day, remember this: regardless of all this AI stuff, that doesn't mean you can't stop making music. You can still continue making music, still continue the pursuit of getting better production, still continue the pursuit of getting better at guitar or whatever your favorite instrument is, singing, etc. Nothing's going to change with that. And that's the most important thing to remember is when it comes to music in general, most people, I think most genuine musicians, don't do it just for the money, although that's a great potential side effect if you are making good money from it. They do it because they genuinely love it.